Welcome everybody. I am so sorry to make you wait this long, and you see I even forgot to turn the lights. Look at this. Hold on. Okay guys, welcome very much. Welcome to Kendo Tips. My name is Jose. I am a Golden in Kendo, and today I'm doing a live stream that I hope is a success because I'm improvising with a couple of things. I'm trying a different setup in the stream, so you might notice a couple differences. Like I have no music right now, been having a lot of technical difficulties. But I wanted to try a full setup of streaming with my Mac. I want to see if my stream goes well, goes smooth. There's my dog just climbing around. And so yeah, I'm going to try to see how fluid the stream goes. Hopefully we have good things going on today. I have different possibilities when it comes to streaming from here in the computer, so I'm excited to share some of those things with you today. So we'll see how that goes. In the meantime, if you're here, please hit the like button. Let me know if you're here. Let me know how your Kendo training has gone this past couple of days, and while I catch up with all this technology stuff that I have going on. Okay, let me just make sure that I have a couple of these things out here. Okay. Okay, so the main thing I would like to know, if anybody can let me know at some point, it's if the image stutters, if there's any delay, if there's any, lag in the image. I would like to know that. If you could let me know, I will appreciate that. Let me see. And everything should be running smoothly. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try playing one video first to see how everything goes on. We can start watching some Kendo, and I can put this setup to the test. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here. Now, you might notice that my camera looks different. Again, I'm streaming from a different computer. So let me just try to edit some of this stuff as we play. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the video. I would like to know if the audio is good for you. Oh, you know what? Okay, another setup problem. I need to make sure that the video is not so big. Okay, this was so big. Okay, so let me just make this go over here. Maybe I'll go over here a little bit for now, and should be fine. And then maybe I can just fix the camera a little bit there. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Christina. Thank you for letting me know that it's going on smoothly so far. Also, if you notice that the sound of my voice doesn't match my lips, let me know too, because that's also important. Sometimes there's a delay. I checked for that earlier, so it should be fine. Anyways. So let me tell you, yesterday on my stream, I was talking about different categorizing opponent styles and what can we do to start planning an approach towards our opponent. So one thing that I like to do is not only study the moments of the ippon, but also look at what happens in between. So I think for some reason this thing jumped. Let's see what happened here. Oh, I feel like this video has a problem. So here I feel like red is very energetic and very all over white. Now there's a little bit of a height difference, and as we saw yesterday, when an opponent is shorter, they have to make sure they close the distance. And the advantage that the taller person has is obviously in the reach, but that means too that the shorter person can dictate the pace of the fight. So real quick, because let me just break this down. So there's two different approaches based on the article that we were reading yesterday. And if you are taller, you can allow your opponent to start closing the distance and anticipate his motion to attack. When you are shorter, you are mostly looking for them to, number one, initiate an attack from further away so you can deflect and counter. And also because of their height advantage towards the men, you can start planning out waza and techniques that you can do against them in advance. So this is something that you can start working out this way. Jessica, welcome to the stream. Thank you for passing by. And one thing that you want to do is start assessing what are some of the things that you can do in order to approach your opponent regardless of the opponent you may have. So you may have a taller, shorter opponent. You can also have somebody that attacks a lot, somebody that pressures the shiai on top. And after this video, I'm gonna go back to the article so we can see a little bit and talk about it. Okay, this is a fight from before the COVID break. So the new rules for Suba Serie I are not in place in this match. And this is very important to know, especially because I feel like this engagement right here would have given a Hansoku to red. Like, hold on, this engagement right here. It almost looks like none of them wants to separate, so both of them probably would have gone the Hansoku. Oh, okay. One of the things that I love that I can do here on the Mac versus the PC is that I can have much more control on the slow motion here, and I can rewind little places like this. This is such a great approach to a waza, to a technique. So he is trying to get the opponent to block his left, I guess, yeah, the opponent's left. And as they do that, he's trying to create the opportunity to attack with Sajuman on the other side, right here. I think the angle is pretty good. I think because of the frame rate, I cannot tell if he actually made contact or not. If he missed. Oh, yeah, it looked like he missed it. Like the shiai kind of just hit and went out to the side. Hold on, let me get a little shiai. Level 69, but aren't they supposed to separate After the engagement, yes. Okay, hold on, because my chat is cut off here. After the engagement, yes, they're supposed to break out, and now with the new COVID rules, they are supposed to do this much more sooner than what they're doing here. Before the shinpen could ask them to separate, but there wasn't such a hard rule about how long you could stay there. The problem back then was that people use this to kind of rest, to kind of just take a break in there, and that's not what you want. You want to be engaged at all times. So hold on, give me a second. Let me get a shinai. Okay, here's my at-home shinai, and let me go back to the main scene. Actually, can I tap? Okay, this is what I'm doing, guys. I'm actually streaming on the Mac. That's why my stream looks different. And what I'm doing is I'm trying out what my full travel setup will be. So I have an iPad as a second monitor and my computer as the main monitor. So I'm getting used to this. So thank you very much for bearing with me on all of this craziness. So level 69, almost like clinching in boxing. That is correct. You want to, it's one of those things that you're not necessarily going to get a warning for that, but you want to avoid just being in this position. And you want to understand when you're in this position, you should be fully engaged. You shouldn't be just hanging around. So this is something that I really like to try out at the dojo, and I consider it to be part of like Nidan Waza, where the attack comes in as a real attack from the right, and then immediately using the left hand to go around. You can use a little bit of the right arm to bring the sword around, but what you don't want to do is you don't want to be using the bicep to move the sword, right? You want to guide the sword, especially the right hand is the one that's going to guide it. And if you need to bend the elbow, you could, but you don't want to be pulling with the sword or with the hand, because ideally you want to shoot out the sword with the left hand. That's where you're gonna get that extra speed, that snap, and that good movement. Level 69, you're welcome. Also, I know that sometimes when I move away, the volume comes down, obviously because the microphone cannot pick me up. So tell me if you can hear me fine when I'm back there. I know I can check this later as I watch my stream later, but I just want to know if for you guys so you can get everything that I mean to say. Okay. Let's keep watching this thing. Thank you, level 69. Paulina, thank you for passing by. And thank you for letting me know. It sounds good. Okay, this is a point of danger, guys, and this is something that you can lose your shinai, you can get scored, and you can be in trouble just by doing this. So when you do, I was actually talking about this at the dojo. When you do any technique, it's very important that when you practice your kihon, you practice to stop where it's meant to stop, where it's supposed to stop. Because if you overswing, if you hit too far, things like this happen, right? Where you lose the grip. Here he lost the grip, and he was sharp enough to know that, okay, the guy is going to take advantage of this and attack, so he covered all his angles. He even look how he twists his body to dodge the hand, and covers his. Right now he's covering his men and his do and his kote. His gyakudo is still open, but his opponent is kind of in a bad position to hit that. I like a little bit of this probing right here. And I want to mention this because I feel like sometimes people want to do this at the dojo, but it's kind of, they just do it for just doing it, thinking that it's going to be a distraction. I think, and again, I could be wrong too, that when he's doing this, you see how white is kind of like circling the sword around the shinai. At this point, he does a couple different things. He goes around in circle, he goes left and right from underneath, he goes from on the top, and I think he's trying to gather information. I always look at it as if like your shinai is your antenna. You want to see what the opponent is telling you, and right here, you see he's trying to find out what the opponent does to each motion. Whether this information will be useful, or he can apply this information, or he can do something with this information later on the fight, it may be a case or not, but he is actively looking to understand his opponent. I like this point. I like to think about it like this. So this match has a lot of communication, a lot of movement, but it's not too jumpy. This is what I liked about this fight. The last fight that we're gonna see from this same video actually has a very nice last ippon. But before I do that, let me see if I can start looking at some of the things that I was talking about. Oh, level 69. He got the ippon earlier in the match. Let me see if I find it real quick. I think what was happened was that the video had a. Okay, hold on. I found the spot. Let me take you back. The video was jumping before. This was the man that he scored. and let me challenge everybody and ask you, did you see the man? So quick, huh? So there's a lot of exchange right here. I like the attitude that he's coming in. He's coming in with one more, right? And he first he comes in to disrupt the shinai. Look, he tries to come into the center and then swings around on the other side, suppress the shinai down to get a reaction. His opponent kind of comes back down, so he has to like make a little bit of distance. He's trying to catch the shinai. He didn't catch it, but then he threw a technique very sharply, very strongly, a kote, and then kind of like trying to figure out the response of the opponent, tries again to suppress the shinai, and then from here directly into the man. Look, from here, you can't even see it, but you see right there. And this is one of the reasons why sometimes I want to talk about this. Sometimes we need to get the tip of the sword out of the center, but your intention, your hands, and your momentum should not leave the center. Because I don't know if you can see my mouse. Can you see my mouse? No, you can't see my mouse. This sucks. One thing that he's doing right here, let me see if I can get a better view. Hold on. Again, guys, sorry because I wasn't really prepared, because I'm still learning how to do all this stuff. Okay, so let me see if I can just bring you up a little bit. Okay, let me just make sure I don't break anything in here. Okay, so do this. Good. Okay, so I want to do it with a regular size shinai. So if you notice in the video, he's forced he's forced to press down the opponent's shiai out to the side, but immediately kept the momentum, kept the tension to the center. A lot of times people tend to, when they do this, they get out so much that in order to come back, it's so troublesome. So ideally, he's keeping the hands forward and then going in, literally as if he were to be doing kote men, right? He's coming in like in the same, but now instead of just attacking the kote, he is suppressing the opponent's shiai and immediately going forward. This is also that I feel that sometimes gets neglected during practice, but it needs to be done. We need to be mindful of doing this. Okay. Level 69, you said, only because I did the frame by frame. Yeah, sometimes these things are hard to see. Even for the camera, sometimes this is hard to see. What I'm going to do, guys, I forgot to do this earlier, is that I am going to pop up the Discord server for anybody that would like to join the Discord server. You can pass by and join me there, ask any questions, send me, you can, communicate directly with me. And the other thing that you can do is just find other people that like Kendo as much as we do, or Japanese culture as well. So I'm going to pin it. And I'm going to say this. If you were in the stream yesterday, you will notice that I had the same shirt, but I have two, okay? It's not that I don't shower. If I do a stream tomorrow with the same shirt, then you say, okay, yeah, you didn't shower, but different shirt. And I'm just going to say, if you want to get your own, the link is coming up. Okay? The link is coming up in the chat, I believe, for all the shirts that I have for my site. Melina, good afternoon. Oh, you woke up. You woke up for the stream. Nice. Thank you for passing by. Estaba pensando hacerlo en español, pero no tuve suficientes personas en el principio que me hablaran en español, entonces empecé en inglés. No. Pero voy a empezar a hacer streams semanales en español. Okay, estoy pensando capaz los lunes en las noches, capaz sea un buen momento, un buen día, o si no, hacerlo uno en inglés el sábado y uno en español el domingo. So, Paulina, just little details. Listen, in Kendo, one of the biggest signs that you can get from who is higher level than who is the details. You see how people, even how they tie their bogu. When I'm in a tournament, you see like people with like their himo like all the way down to like their waist, and you can tell that they're not really knowing how to take care of their bogu or how they wear it. But then you see somebody with their bogu properly worn, and it's a whole different thing. You can tell that, okay, this person's going to have a good showing. So, hobbies. Hola, ¿cómo estás? Saludos. Gracias por pasar. And Melina, okay, you imagine that? Okay, so not during the nights. It's bad for you to do the stream during the nights. Okay, so listen, if you guys could, there's a Spanish section. Hay una sección en español en el servidor de Discord, y ahí podemos coordinar los días y así podemos, cualquier pregunta que tengan, algo así, podemos hacer un stream, sea pocos de nosotros, pero por lo menos estamos respondiendo preguntas específicas y queda para las personas después que quieran verlo en español. Como les dije, quiero hacer estaba pensando hacer otro canal en español, pero cuando tenga ya este canal un poco más estable, porque ahorita estoy por todos lados. Okay, and Melina, your sensei always says that the importance of details, it's incredible. I mean, the way you wear your bogu, the way you move around before your fight, like going into the court. There's this thing that like people say that when you go to test, your test starts before you cross the door, before you pass the door of the test. And I agree totally with that, because even even if you give a bit bad what am I talking? Even if you give a bad first impression to somebody, it can start giving them, a bad vibe of you, when you're performing your test. So, okay. I'm getting all sorts of crazy notifications here, but at least I know my connection has been stable. You guys haven't experienced any lagging, right? Any bad uh, connection. Sound in the video has been fine. Nothing has stuttered. I'm good. Okay. Now I did want to show the article that we were talking about yesterday, and I kind of wanted to put up more of that content from yesterday. Let me see. What do you say, Melina? Even how you put your shoes when you take off before you go to the dojo. Yes, like putting your shoes together, um, like like looking away. If you put them together, some people just let them flop. Like it's I know what you're talking about. Yep. Paulina, algo que has notado son los mismos miembros del dojo donde entrenas. Los rangos más altos incluso miden sus himos cuando colocan el men y con el do. Correcto, es correcto. No hay, es completamente correcto. Cuando te pones los himos, tú estás buscando que los himos tengan el mismo largo. Entonces es importante hacer eso. Y obviamente, no solamente que tenga el mismo largo, pero también que el largo del gimo sea el correcto. Entonces, cuando uno compra los gimos nuevos, los gimos que te los venden más largo de lo que lo necesitas, porque no saben, obviamente, diferentes medidas de diferentes personas. Entonces te venden una medida general, pero tú deberías de cortarlo a la medida correcta, que si no me equivoco creo que son 60 centímetros máximo, o 45, no me acuerdo ahorita. Pero, I have a video. Yo tengo un video de eso. So what I was saying, guys, I'm gonna say it in English. She's saying that she noticed that at her dojo, whenever she sees the higher rank, that the higher ranks measure their himo. And I'm saying that this is very important because the himo should be the same length. And we do this when we put in our men and our do as well. You don't want it to be like all over the place. And normally what I do is I put my do himo inside of my do. And I know that they'll flap out at some point, it's fine. But at least when I get up, if I'm testing or whatever, like everything is nice and neat. And I can go in and hopefully give a good impression. So I think this is very important. Okay, so let me see if I can. Let me see. Okay, it's right here. And it's going to be super big. So sorry guys, let me just make this smaller so you guys can see me. Maybe I can just do this with the camera real quick so that way you guys don't have a problem seeing me. I'm just gonna put this here. And I'm sorry I don't have the chat on the screen either. Right now, again, I have to do a lot of setup, but I'm taking notes of some of the things that I need to fix as we do this. Okay, so we talked about some of the things of some of the different opponents that we can find. Somebody with a strong Kenzen, somebody that moves around a lot. And I'm just gonna review this one, the wheelie opponent, the person that moves a lot. I'm just gonna mention that the best way to deal with such an opponent is to control him with distance. It says my here, but I like to keep it as much as possible into full English. So when he tries to close the distance, move out of the way smoothly so that the interval stays distant, essentially telling him that you are not going to commit yourself or play his game. After a while, he'll become impatient and attempt to strike from Toma from a very far distance, but will not be able to do it. So with a straight or pure attack, he will always try some sly move to unsettle you before making the strike. You have to nip this in the butt as he's about to attack and score first. So you have to score first when he's about to attack. So remember, guys, when you're doing, especially for like Degashirawaza, right? You want to anticipate, and because you're supposed to catch your opponent as they move in, they're closing the distance for you. So you don't have to hit them where they are at that moment when you decide to strike. You have to aim for where they will be by the time you get there. I don't know if that makes sense. And then I think one of the main reasons why this works is because, let's say, if we are both if we're both here, what and this is your opponent and this is you, and your opponent is going to aim right here, and you're supposed to aim right here. So their full extent is going to be longer for them, making it a little bit more effective for you. This is one approach, by the way. This is not just the only approach. This is one approach. So this is some of the things that you want to keep in mind as you are performing this. Was the same thing with Kaeshi Do. You don't throw the do where the person is at the moment when you say, okay, I'm coming in for the do. You have to allow them to commit, and because they're going to disrupt the distance, you have to adapt at that moment. It's one of my favorite techniques too, by the way. Okay, because we talked about the willy opponents, and the way to fight them is to move back, right? Like say, like keep the distance or move swiftly. He says it could also mean to move to the side. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to read next the opponents, how to fight against somebody that moves back. Okay, fighting an opponent who moves back when you apply pressure. Even if you strike, it will not reach the target. As soon as he moves back, you can carry on and apply more pressure. Or even if you're in the Uchima position, refrain from striking and force him to attack instead. Don't feel compelled to rush in and attack. Oof, I think this is a big advice to give. And I'm sorry you guys cannot see this. Let me just put this right here. But this is a big point. Do not feel compelled to rush in and attack. Especially when I see tests, feel like maybe Yondan and below, even Godan, right? Like I think one of the biggest reasons one of the biggest things that I hear from people that tell me that they didn't pass their test is like they feel they attacked a lot, maybe because they got nervous. So this is one of the things when I see a lot of these tests, the people are just come in, they turn around, talk around, and attack, and this is not what you're looking for. You're looking to create pressure, disrupt the opponent, and capitalize on the mistake the opponent just made, ideally, in an ideal world, right? So, when faced with such an opponent, you can use the same strategy as when fighting somebody with a yielding shinai or a wide stand by paying careful attention to controlling the distance. Obviously, if we're talking about this, we have to talk about opponents with a yielding shinai, with a yielding kenzen. Yielding kenzen means the person that drops their sword as you're applying pressure. It in a way kind of number one, not allowing you to communicate, to feel the shinai, but then also making it where it becomes now risky to go for a man because they could be baiting you for a kaeshi do. They could also, it becomes hard to attack for the kote because they could be, put in such an angle that it's easier for them to cover, and so on. So, how to fight against this? In this instance, you should do as you would with a willy opponent. Again, keep your distance so that he thinks that none of his attacks will reach. He will then be coerced into taking the initiative or making an attack. When he does, use Go no Sen to counter and execute Ai Uchi. However, he may also entice you to strike by feigning an attack. You have to be careful not to be taken in. So, I think this is one of the things you learn from experience, as he says earlier on the article. What I'm going to say, also yielding a shiai doesn't necessarily mean that it's only dropping it, by the way. It could also mean, sorry, let me just get this out of the way. It could also mean, you know, they put pressure and they just don't return it and they just let it go, so that way they come back to the center. They're not really putting pressure back. They're just allowing the shiai to kind of just move out. I think fighting somebody with a yielding strategy, because they're not forcing up, it's a little bit harder to get them to make a mistake. They tend to be very fluid to move around their sword, and it's something that you want to be careful with. You have to be careful fighting them. So anyways, that being said, I think we can go and watch the rest of the video. Let me just make sure that I have no extra comments. Okay, let's get it. Okay, so this was the ippon that we saw before. Okay, this is the second match. Again, this is pre-COVID rules, so don't mind the... I need to fix this camera before. So, great approach. I don't know where would you classify his opponent, but one of the things that I really enjoy seeing from this Kenshi is his smooth approach forward, right? Such a good approach into his opponent. Very nice, very smooth. Now, remember I told you that going back to Kamae right here at this point, this is a very dangerous point. This is something that you always want to be mindful, not relax, and be ready. This is one of my favorite dolls to watch. Out of all the videos that people have sent me, a friend of mine actually sent me this video. Let me just make this a little bit lower, I guess. Okay. This is so interesting, right? Because there's a couple of things, and I wanted to break this down. So there's pressure coming in forward, right? Look how he's coming in with the weight on the left leg. He makes it like he's going to step in here, right? But then he keeps pushing. Not much though. Very short fumikomi with a block up, making his opponent think, oh, he's coming for the man. So listen, from here all the way to here, there's no way that this guy couldn't have thought that his opponent was coming for man. I think, right? He's doing, I think he's sending all the right signals. He's keeping the upper body very relaxed. He's engaging the lower body and pushing from the left leg, pushing in from the left leg. And as he does this, he then readjusts. He does fumikomi, readjusts, and then sets up for this Yakudo. Bam. The guy obviously said, okay, he's gonna come. He protected the man. After this point, oh, wait. After this point, he's like, okay, he didn't come for the man. He's gonna come for the dough. So it's really hard. And again, this is going to be a 50-50 chance for him to cover one of the two doughs. But this is something that I find amazing on this dough. And this is one of the reasons why I like it so much. Look how straight his upper body is toward his opponent, right? With his engagement towards his opponent's eye, there's no way he couldn't seen how the body was gonna turn. He couldn't know which way the body was gonna turn. Guys, give me 1 second because I think I can. Oh no, I cannot. I cannot show my mouse here. That sucks. Okay, anyways, but he does this Gyakudo. And again, Gyakudo is one of the techniques that doesn't happen with Fumikomi. The Fumikomi happens before there's contact and then he goes back. Okay, and of course, Sanshin, that after the hit, after he's in a safe distance, he re-engages with the opponent as soon as possible back into Kamae. He saw the flag, so that way I guess he disengaged. At this point, I guess it's fine, especially because his partner just got stopped there, and that was it. Anyways, this is one of my favorite ippongs that I have gotten. So another thing that I like the possibility to do right here when I have the Mac is that I can it's easier for me to send me things from my phone. So I managed to send myself a couple of videos from Instagram. So kind of what I wanted to do is I wanted to just look at some Instagram videos that I think could be cool or interesting or something that we can learn from and just share that with you. It's not going to be long. I think they're going to be quick videos, and those things I can probably do in this screen right here. So let me see. Let me see. Capture. Okay. And again, oh. Okay, no, this is not what I meant to do. Give me 1 second. Okay, but I want to make this much smaller. Okay. And let me I'm sorry I haven't set it. I need to set up the windows and stuff like that so that way you guys can see it better. But here's a video. So obviously you can see that the original post is down in the bottom. So you guys, the person doing this video can get credit for, and then I can just share this with you guys. So the reason why I wanted to share this is because the sensei, I feel, is doing a really good job at bringing up the student, where he is working on teaching the student timing, right? I think I could be wrong again. Like I'm guessing, right? So he's given the right signals to make sure the student engages forward. You see? So it looks to me that in this video, the sensei is training his student to perform degote, and I like the communication, the nonverbal communication that happened there. Okay, now let me see how efficient I can be at going to the next video without too much trouble. Okay. So this is the next one. Okay. Now this one is Nito. I know in the Discord server we have a few Nito players, and you guys, hopefully you enjoy it. Okay, this is both were very nice attempts, right? So look how the Kenshi in the Ito, like the one sword, it's holding his kamae. This is very interesting, right? Because one thing that he's doing, he's taking away his opponent's ability to catch the shinai, to suppress the shinai, and which is one of the preferred techniques when people are doing Nito. Then on top of that, he's also covering his man. He's making the kote somewhat inaccessible. Still accessible though. He's making it somewhat accessible, but he's also able to catch on pretty quick if the opponent is going for the do. But the main benefit of this, obviously, is he's not getting tangled up with the smaller sword. Now, I feel that at some point he kind of just fell asleep there, right? And remember, both kote are accessible in this case, right? So his opponent just went for that kote. This is one of the most efficient techniques, I feel like, against Nito, especially going on the side where with the big sword is, because if you do it right, the opponent doesn't see you coming in, you're able to close the distance, execute the attack before he's able to block it. But be mindful that if you look at the opponent's little shinai, the shoto, it's right there following down. So it's really easy for them to cover. So you have to come in such a way that the opponent doesn't know you're coming there. Hope that makes sense. So I like doing this. So if you would like, you can always send me some Instagram videos, and I could download them from my phone and send them directly for the stream. So this is something that I'm excited for, because there's a lot of things that we can do with this. Let me see what's the next video. Oh, okay. So the next video is from another account. It's called Funashima Kendo, and they recorded one of their kenshi doing several several Jigeiko, and I think that she's doing pretty good. I think she has a really good. So I really like this exchange right here. Actually, I watched this one earlier, and on the right one is the kenshi that I want you to be looking out for. Okay, let me just put this right here. Can I make this smaller? Hold on. Or can I maybe make this bigger so this looks smaller? Oh, okay. Okay. Sorry, guys. I haven't streamed on a PC in a minute. So there you go. Okay. This is such a good approach to men. I feel like coming in very nice and straight. They both clashed in straight on, and then bring the hips in and make the distance. But now look at what she does. Look at the type of mentality that she's in. She's ready to go again. As soon as she goes out around, you see that she notices that the distance is right for her to keep going, and immediately goes for the next one. Nice man as well. Now, I know that a lot of times we see this happening where, let me just move this over here. This thing is the most annoying part. The left leg, look how it lifts up. Now, if you notice, and this is something that I've been thinking a lot about, so hopefully I can share some insight on this. Look at how the left leg kind of just becomes straight, right? She is kind of jumping up. So she is like straining the leg and not necessarily pushing forward, right? So it's kind of like on the place. I'm not saying that she's doing it bad. I'm just saying that this is not necessarily the most efficient way. It's, again, her man is pretty good, so don't get me wrong. If you look at the Kenshi on the other side, although his movement is it's a little less fluid than hers, he is pushing forward, right? You see the difference? I don't know if you guys see that, right? Like look how the momentum brings her lower back up, right? Like boop, where this guy is going in more forward, right? Although she looks like she's diving into it. Look at that. She's like diving into that man. Ideally, I would like to see it a little bit straighter, but still, yeah, I think it's pretty good. Okay, and okay, next video. You guys let me know if you think that this is interesting or cool to do it like this. This is an experiment. You're welcome to send me some more videos, and I will gladly watch them together with you here on the stream. So next one. Okay. Maybe, okay. Okay. Let's see this one. Oh, okay. I'll tell you in a second. Okay. This is something that I feel that doesn't get talked about enough. But look at the engagement that they're having from the distance they're having, right? I don't know what's going on. I don't know if this is a drill or if this is Jigeiko itself. So I'm not gonna take this out of context at all. But I like the fact that even though they're not necessarily yet touching the shinais, they're already fully engaged with each other, right? They're coming in, trying to close the distance very carefully, and she's not hesitating. She's getting ground, taking ground, taking ground, taking ground, to the point that now she's at striking distance. And at this point, she switches to go in. So much, I think, that it took a quarter of a second for the guy to realize that she was coming. Okay, okay, I like it. I like it. Okay, let's see what's next. Pretty good. I think she's pretty good. Okay. I got lost. Okay. Okay. See this one? Wait, because I want to see the feet. So important. Ooh, very nice. Okay, so let's break this one down a little bit. I like this. I like these posts much more sometimes than watching competitions. I like watching Jigeiko so much more over competitions sometimes, because we can see how people feel free to experiment and to do different things without necessarily that eagerness to have to do anything possible to get the ippon, right? So sometimes the ippons tend to be much cleaner, even though you see much more exchanges and many more times of people getting hit, because again, people are polishing themselves this point. Which, by the way, I'm gonna say this, guys. Please, if you see the himo, do you see the himo on that kote right here? Hold on. Like, you see this kote right here, this himo right there? Don't, guys. Don't. Fix that up, please. Also, you see how the kote, it's so open like this, and it's kind of like narrow at the end, by the wrist. This will give you less protection. You want to have it uniform. Takes 5 minutes, guys. Fix it, please. This is another thing that you want to be careful as you go for testing as well, right? If this doesn't look nice and neat, could be bad for your test. So anyways, let's see a little bit of what happens before. There's a little bit of exchange, and I feel that maybe the guy on the left, I don't know if it's a guy or a girl. I think it's a guy because I heard the voice, maybe. But anyways, there's a lot of tension. Even though her shiai it's slightly higher, I feel like there's a lot of tension on the movement of the guy on the left. Okay, I guess like he needed to separate a little bit to release some of that tension. Okay, so at this point, she is anticipating his move forward. I wonder if her kamae is also the reason why she went for the kote, because it almost looks like she's prepared to just covering the kote, right, at all times. So like kind of limiting his opponent's ability for the kote. And then going for that kote herself. Okay, let me see next. Let me know your thoughts, by the way. Like, if you feel like this is interesting, if you would like to participate on this, I would love to get some of your... I do wonder if I could connect my Mac and stream the computer directly to a computer. Huh. I could try that. Anyways, let's watch this one. Oh, of course, we have to just make it a little bit bigger. So this a little bit smaller. Sorry, I didn't do it before. Okay, let's see what we got going on here. Again, we're seeing how the difference in height, how she's approaching the difference in height, and she has to be responsible for closing the distance, right? Obviously, as we saw in the article from Chiba Sensei, it is hard to fight with this big difference in height, because obviously her opponent has an advantage for the man, but she's being very proactive, and as soon as his partner comes in, she is trying to come in forward and returning the pressure. But I feel like, I don't know if she got the kote. Oh, I think she did. Look at that. Oh. This is why I think it's very risky, because especially from this angle, if you have a shimpan on this angle, it could be borderline problematic to get that kote, so it could become very risky. But I assume that because of this, she has practiced it plenty, so that way she gets the skill necessarily to show off that she did good. Okay, I think I have one more of these. Yes, but this is actually from a different account. This is okay. This is actually a Korean account, so I guess we're gonna watch Kundo over Kendo. Let's see. Hold on, let me just make sure there's the right size. Ah, okay. Too big. Hold on. I did try, guys. I tried. Okay. The good old Jigeiko. Let's try one more time. I like this level of energy. I like this level of engagement during a practice. You want to allow yourself to create fluidity. I think that one of the biggest things with Kakarigeko, it's understanding yourself and how to get fluidity in your body. Energy management, tenouchi, getting good impact, all this stuff get worked in as you do Kakarigeko. Now, I know it looks very intense, but I think everybody should understand how to do Kakarigeko, whether you're early on in your kendo, later on, you should understand how to do it. So number one is safe for you to do it. And number two, you actually get a benefit of it beyond just the physical fitness that you can get from it. Because this is not the goal for doing Kakarigeko. This is not the main goal for doing Kakarigeko, I think. Okay, so there was one video. Okay. I found an Ippon compilation, but so I had troubles downloading the videos that I wanted to watch with you guys today. So I'm gonna have one more video, and it's a fight from Kunitomo. And if you guys watch my streams regularly, you know that Kunitomo is one of my favorite kenshi. And I'm gonna watch the whole thing. I also found a Ippon compilation that I had on my computer, but it has such a cheesy music that it's just so bad. My dog is snoring. Can you guys hear? I don't know if you can hear him. Like, it's so bad. Anyways. Oops, I just dropped my shiai. Okay, let's see. Let me get this video. Come on. Okay. Okay. Again. And again, the main purpose I want to watch this video with right now is going to be understanding how to approach the opponent. I believe Kunitomo's on the right. I think I saw the kanji. Okay, I'm going to tell you something. I watch Kunitomo a lot, and one thing that I like from him is how composed he is under pressure, right? Normally, most of the fights, I think this is something very characteristic of him, that his opponent is attacking, and I feel like at this point he is planning as that's happening. And if you look at this, I think this is a perfect example of that. Right? He went to cover. I am not gonna say that again, like is perfect cover or anything like that, but I like the fact that like right after he was done, he saw his opponent being done with engagement, he saw an opening, and he attempted getting an ippon there. So much that his opponent saw that, like, okay, I'm wide open. I need to do something to disturb the waza. His approach on this man, I think it's amazing. It's so straightforward, right? Um, Look at the engagement of his legs as he's coming in, taking tiny steps, tiny steps. He comes in and throws in his man with such an explosion. Uh, wait. Kinonura, sin ni un gesto de más, brutal el men. Es que Kunitomo tiene un kendo excelente. I feel like at this point, his opponent is being very like blocking a lot, right? Because I feel like Kunitomo is putting a lot more pressure in his attacks. I think this Kote had a really good attempt. So, and there's something that I find very interesting happening is that he is coming in, he's closing the distance, he is throwing the Kote underneath, then going above, and then coming back down. Just kind of like disrupting the timing of the Kote. John, de la forma que él entra, de verdad es que es impactante de verlo de frente porque entra de una forma tan sutil y tan rápido después que es difícil de anticipar su movimiento. Okay, okay. It's, you know, this was a great man. This is okay. I like how he performs this man so well because we're talking yesterday and today about approaching the opponent. In the article with Chiba Sensei, he mentions probing the opponent to get a reaction. You can probe a second time to get a reaction, but at the third time, if you're gonna do it, you have to go because then if not, your opponent starts figuring out that what you're doing it to see his reaction, and then he will change it. Sometimes you have to be able to trust your gut feeling, and some people know already that at the second attempt, this is it. This is the one that you have to go. So again, all of this you get with experience and understanding and keeping track of what you're doing, right? None of this makes sense if you don't keep track. Now, look at what happens. He puts the pressure. He puts the pressure once. Okay, let me go back a little bit. Puts the pressure once, okay? He sees his opponent drop a shiai and take a slightly step back. And then kind of challenge immediately, right? But then at the second time, look what happens. He starts putting the pressure in. I believe that he also knocked the shiai. Yeah, look at that. He did like a harai. He did a harai to come in. But whatever so slightly, very slightly, you see, it almost looks a little bit like makiwaza too, because it's going in such a circular motion underneath and up. So it's harai, I believe, but it looked like he's just doing this, but in such a fluid manner to going forward. Look. Now, I'll tell you something in a second. Let me just catch up with this comments. Okay. Hobbies, dices que no se vio nada. ¿En qué sentido? O te referías al men anterior que no se vio nada en el sentido de que no se vio cómo él entró, como él, o es que no se vio nada en el stream. Diferente. John, left foot nailed on the floor and suddenly. So I always talk about a lot about the anchoring the left foot. As a matter of fact, let me see if I have this video on this computer. I should. Yeah, I do. So a while back, before I go back to this one, a while back, I'm going to tell you this. I made a little bit of this edit, and I feel like this expresses a lot of what you just mentioned. Okay. And if you look at this, I made this video. It's just 4 seconds, right? But I did a little bit of a right to understand the chain of power, right? So the left foot needs to be anchored. I call it anchoring. I would say maybe it's bracing, but it's creating force to go forward as the body comes in. Now at this point, the momentum of your body is just taking it in, right? He is connecting right at this moment, and then with the momentum forward, creating the impact, And the fumikomi right here, instead of lifting him up because he's already pretty high, is just bringing him forward. So he's pulling with the right leg to keep the momentum going rather than lifting him, which I see a lot sometimes people. And I wish I would have looked at some of those videos from Instagram more to see if I find one where like people just go down and then up instead of through and forward. This skill I think is very important to develop, and this is something that, you know, unfortunately, through a lot of the habits that we have created, it's going to take us a while. Hobbies, ok, quisiste decir de lo rápido que fue. Like, ok, sí, es que como digo, él es sutil, pero también explosivo. So, John, you said you have that problem. You have a tiny step just before the strike. Your tiny step before your strike. But the tiny step, it's a good thing though, right? Like what you're saying is a problem. You do like a little tiny step before you go. So obviously it's not a good thing if you're not doing it on purpose. If it's happening unconsciously, yeah, it is not good. But if you see in Kunitomo's video, let's watch this for a second. Like, not on this one, in the one before. Hold on, you'll see. Where was it? Where they started? I think it was this one. Right? So look, from Kamae, he does tiny step and then anchors and pushes. Look. So this is what you mean. It's a problem for you that you cannot get out of this habit, or what do you mean? Or do you mean that you fall for the other person doing this little step? Is that it's a little bit different? So I want to know. I'm curious. I'm very curious, actually. That being said, let me just make sure that I fast forward where we were with the ippon. So we can watch this man. Okay. John, you said, no, inconsistente. Okay, you suppose it's a problem if like depending on the distance. And yeah, I mean, like, again, so to seme is to pressure and to approach the opponent, right? So if you're too close, if you're close enough, then you don't need to do this. You need to attack. But that being said, you shouldn't start your motion from being too close. You should already started it before getting there. I hope what I'm saying makes sense based on what you were saying. But anyways, let's watch this man real quick one more time. So if you see, Kunitomo comes in, puts the pressure once. On the second one, he makes it, and it's just a subtle slap of the shiai to go in one motion to the man. Again, keeping the tip and the intention forward. Okay, gracias. Again, because this is pre-COVID, this would not be the case happening during COVID rules, right? This would have been a hansoku. The fact that red is trying to separate and white is going forward, I really don't know any other reasons that he might be doing this besides trying to run the clock. Yeah, I don't know. So now red obviously feels the pressure that he needs to attack. So I was mentioning yesterday that in Chiba Sensei article, you have different types of opponents categorized, and some of the things that you can do to start planning or to start making a repertoire of approaches against these types of opponents. One thing we have to understand is our opponent during a fight can go from being one type of opponent to being another. Especially one line that is in that article that says you have to make your opponent not do their kendo. So you have to make them do another kendo that's not their own. So when they do this, they may fall into a different category of this list, but with less skill. Does that make sense? Obviously, if this is a skilled player, they will also find a way to be skillful at this. But you want to make them do a different type of kendo. Once they do this, guess what happens? You have more opportunities to act and to deflect and counter. If you are prepared to fight different types of kendo, during a fight like this, you will be able to adapt quickly. Because if you notice, okay, his opponent was fighting one way, but now that he's under pressure, he just got hit. He needs to score or else he's out. Now he's trying to go for like an all or nothing approach. He's trying to go for an all or nothing approach. So now obviously Kunitomo has to adjust to this. Ooh, okay. I love to see how composed he is. And look, he's just so chill. He's like, okay, he's gonna attack him. He gives him pressure. His opponent comes to attack. He covers in that kote. He immediately readjusts and look at the posture. Look at the pose. He's ready. He's going for it, right? He's ready. He's not tense though, right? His opponent gives him a little bit of a pressure because he's like, I need to get out of this quick. This guy is going to be, what's it called, running the clock. And Kunitomo takes this opportunity, and look how quick. Look at the use of the left and the right hand to move the shiai around the sword. Come on the other side for the hikimen, right? Again, being able to move your sword this way, it's due to the combination of both the left hand and the right hand working properly. The right hand is not pulling or pushing, it's guiding. The left hand is the one creating the power to go around. Such a great approach. It wasn't a nippon, but it's definitely messing with his opponent's head. And Kunitomo finishes so chill, so very chill. That's one of the reasons why I always liked watching Kunitomo so much. Like he's always so posed, like everything. He seems calculated. I feel that he studies a lot his opponent. Funny story. When I actually practiced with Kunitomo once, I had no idea it was Kunitomo, but when I got to him, I was like, why is this guy just doing whatever he wants with me? Like, there was everything that I would do, like 2 seconds later, he will return right back at me. Like, he will be able to adjust and just come right back at me. It was crazy. And that's one of the things that I enjoy so much about him. His ability to, I think, process what happened and adapting to it. I've been watching him for a while, and I knew at some point he was going to win the All Japan. It's kind of sad that he didn't make it far on the one after, but I hope he keeps doing well because I really like watching his kendo. I would like to see how his kendo progresses. And the other person that I want to keep watching his kendo progress is Maeda from Osaka Police. And unfortunately, he didn't do that good either in the last. I think. Wait. I think he wasn't in the last All Japan. I think Okido was, but I don't know if Maeda was. I forgot. I need to go watch that again. But anyways, guys, um, today I'm very grateful for everybody that showed up because I wanted to do a little bit of a test using my Mac. There's a couple of things that I want to improve, that I want to make sure that they come out better. I would like to know if you guys saw any stuttering in the stream, if there was any lag or any issues that you guys had. I would like to know. That would be helpful. Again, let me just make sure you guys know that the Discord server is in the top of the chat. If you would like to join, you can come by there. Send me a message, ask me any questions. I want to start doing, if I do more of the streams here, or if I can connect my Mac into my PC, I will be able to do a couple of interesting things, like if you send me a thing for Instagram, downloading it and sending it to a computer directly, and we can watch it together. And I also have a video suggestion channel in the Discord that you can send me videos, whether it is of you or some of the videos that you want me to use for the stream. Please send them there. I'll appreciate that. Anyways, guys, you guys have any questions? Anything you want to say before I head out? Hobbies, you see it. I'm guessing you were talking about the Discord server. I think eso es lo que estás hablando, del servidor. O del canal de español que está en el servidor. Oh, let me say this quickly in Spanish. Para todos los que estamos aquí, que estamos hablando en español, o que entienden español, que quieren que haga más videos en español, si se pueden contactar conmigo para que capaz hagamos un día en una hora que sea conveniente para la mayoría. Y de esa forma puedo empezar a hacer contenido que tenga que ver con lo que ustedes quieran saber. O sea, las preguntas que puedan tener directamente con ustedes para poder así empezar a crear contenido en español. Ok, el cintillo de Discord. Ok, so you found Ok, encontraste el enlace. Nice. Dentro del servidor, lo único que tienes que hacer es aceptar las reglas y vas a poder ver el servidor completo. Y en la parte de español directamente podemos organizarnos sobre el stream en español. John, el trabajo no te deja vivir. So, yeah, that happens a lot. Si quieres y si es posible que lo use en el stream, déjame saber. Si quieres que sea privado, también me dejas saber, ¿ok? So guys, again, like I get super motivated with everybody that shows up and keeping me accountable. If you feel that, again, I'm sharing with you guys my opinions, my experience. So I'm not saying that my way is the only way. I would like, even if you guys have different opinions or different thoughts, different ways of doing things, please share them with me. I'm putting myself out there for hopefully the benefit of Kendo, but I know that I don't want to spread bad or misinformation. Okay. That being said, I'm gonna be doing a couple of challenges in the Discord server this week. I want to ask a couple of questions and see what answers I get for the next stream. And hopefully I can do that for both Spanish and English. I will appreciate that. Also, I asked a question that I can share with you guys all the answers on the next stream. Is how do you find about Kendo? What, not about your dojo, not how do you start practicing, no. How do you find out about Kendo? Because you see, thinking about it, the recruitment of students in Japan, for example, I feel it's easier because a lot of people know what Kendo is. And I feel that a lot of times one of the biggest challenges that we may have getting new students, especially with the parents, it's for them to know what Kendo is and why their kids should do it. So I'm curious to know, how did you find Kendo? So we can start maybe building up strategies of how can we get more people into our dojo and to spread, Kendo itself. I would love to work on that because I'm very passionate about Kendo, so I would like Kendo to grow, most definitely. Anyways, guys, last thing, if you guys, again, I told you I have 2 of these shirts. I do wash my shirts, but if you would like to get one of my shirts, you can go check out the link that's about to pop up for the merch, and there you can find the shirts that I have there, mugs. Not this mug. This is my coffee mug. But if you do, you'll be helping out the channel if you get something from there. Guys, I think this is going to be it for today. Thank you very much for passing by. I will be alternating between streaming with computer and the Mac, the PC and the Mac. See how it goes. But again, I want to say thank you very much for being here. Anything I can help you with, let me know. And always try to keep Ippon in mind. Okay? Thank you very much, guys. You have a good rest of your weekend. Hope to see you next week.